welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to day 2. So in the last episode we left you with those beautiful encounters with the otter. What an incredible experience that was, after having had an amazing morning with the kingfisher. I'm obviously not on my own, I'm with the one and only Pops.
Good morning everyone, hope you're all fit and well.
He loves to shout in a hide, does Pops. That's why we see now.
If I look a mess this morning, it's because he's done my makeup.
He asked me to do his makeup and hair, so I just, Kestrel's just flown across. Is it?
There.
So that gives you a little insight as to where we are today. He was probably on its way to the feeding post when Pops decided to bellow out good morning, and it's now gone on its way. We're in another hide.
I'd get the blame for that.
We're in another of Tom Robinson's hides. This is a completely different hide. We are hoping today to photograph Kestrel. There is a slim chance of weasel. He has been getting weasel coming in consistently every day right up until a couple of days before we came, and it's either gone off to have its kits, so it's with kit, or unfortunately it is no longer coming to this location, but we're not 100% certain, so at the moment we're just going to say it's mainly Kestrels that we're going to be focusing on today. We're back photographing through, I'm going to turn the camera around, one-way glass, and you know how much me and Pops love photographing through one-way glass. It is a fantastic experience, isn't it, Pops?
It certainly is, and I must remember to actually take photographs because I didn't when we went to that buzzard hide.
So we're in here for the morning, and then this afternoon we're going to the funnel hide to photograph brown hare, something that I am incredibly excited about. It was what got me up early this morning, the prospect of photographing brown hare.
No, it wasn't, it was breakfast.
Ah, very good point, Pops, and a beautiful segue into, worth mentioning, we are actually staying at Tom's aunt's bed and breakfast. It is an absolutely beautiful home, coupled with the fact that Tom's aunt is and her uncle and his uncle are a lovely couple. We spent a lovely time this morning having a chat to them. The breakfast was just and she's even provided us with a packed lunch for today. Well and truly spoilt. So I would recommend, if you are coming to Tom's for a few days, as we are, we're here for several days, and you don't want to spend every night roughing it in a hide, you know, some people may want to. We quite like a little bit of luxury to go along with our wildlife photography.
Because I'm getting old.
Because he's getting old. And so last night was that luxury. It was absolutely the most comfortable sleep ever. Although since we've been up since 4:30, I think I could have slept on a washing line, if I'm honest.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I was dead to the world.
So Kestrels, brown hare, possibly weasels. If that's something that interests you, come along for the journey and see what we see. And as is the case in all of Tom's hides, you don't do without anything. And there's brew making set up with tea, coffee, fresh water, milk, and there's also a toilet. It's a composting toilet, just like the one at the last hide, lovely and clean, no smell whatsoever. Oh, and there's the Kestrel, and the Kestrel is just coming across now, so we're going to get on. did not take very long at all. We've got our first kestrel in. It's the female. She snuck in on the wall on the left-hand side. In fact, Pops and I hadn't even noticed. It was Pops that noticed her, and by this stage she'd already started to eat. I got a couple of shots. Wasn't in the best of positions for me, unfortunately. The window divide is pretty much in line with where she landed. But then what she has done is she's flown off down the fence line onto a post a bit further down. She's just pooed, so she's probably going to fly. And what that's allowed is for some really nice environmental portrait shots, which are really nice. So I'm just going to see now if we can get some flight shots of it flying back towards this way. One of the things that you have to contend with when you're using glass, the photography glass, is that it can condensate, and you can get condensation on the glass, and obviously that's going to affect your image. What you can probably hear now is fans. So what Tom's done is he's rigged fans. There are 2 fans for every single window, and they're pointing at the glass, so that should you get any condensation starting to appear, if they're starting to mist up ever so slightly, he said put the fans on. You don't have to have them running the whole time. He said, but them being on will just clear the glass, and they've done that really, really quickly. So mine had a little bit of condensation, not so much condensation, but just a little bit of steam, probably because I'm drinking a hot cup of tea. But the minute I put the fans on, that's disappeared. It's it's one of those things, photographing in a hide with the one-way glass. It's a very, very unique experience, and I think if you've never done it, you should experience it just once. It's a little bit voyeuristic, you know. You're looking out, and you know that the things that are out in front of you can't see you. It's kind of cool. It's like a fly on the wall, looking out at nature, and nature has got no idea that you're there. And I know you get that in a hide, but when you're in a hide, you're often peering through scrim netting, or peering through little ports and various things like that. When you've got the one-way glass, you've just got this beautiful panorama in front of you, and it really is quite special. So we've got this beautiful kestrel in front of you. I just want to talk a little bit about kestrels. It's a bird that Pops and I were only talking about yesterday, actually. And that was when I was a kid. You'd see kestrels everywhere. They were definitely the most common raptor that I saw growing up as a child. If I asked my kids what the most common raptor was, they wouldn't say a kestrel. They'd say a buzzard. And I think the number of buzzards has increased over the past 40 years, and the number of kestrels has reduced. In actual fact, from 1995 to 2022, the British Ornithology Organisation have said that they've declined by 40%. 40%, that is significant, absolutely significant, from one of the most widely spread falcons in the world to now being 40% less of them than there were only in 1995. I think they're an absolutely phenomenal bird of prey. They captured my imagination from that book that probably lots of people read when they were at school, and that was Kes. An absolutely incredible read. And what an amazing relationship that he had with his kestrel.
Beautiful film as well.
Yeah, it is a beautiful film. Bit sad. Spoiler alert, it's a bit sad, but incredible. She's just stretching now. I think she's probably getting herself ready to take flight. Every time she looks like she's going to take flight and she stretches, she then settles back down again. Yeah. I half suspect that the male is now sat on the eggs, and she's having a bit of a break from it, and she's enjoying every minute of it. It's a bit like when mum gives the kids to dad and disappears for a couple of hours. She enjoys every second of it, and rightly so, because they certainly deserve it. So kestrels used to be least concern. They used to not be on any list or anything like that. They're now on the amber list because of that 40% reduction in numbers. I do wonder whether the increase in the number of buzzards has had an impact on the number of kestrels. Maybe if that's something that you're aware of and there is a relationship between one increasing and one decreasing, drop me a comment below. She has been with us now for probably the best part of 25 to 30 minutes, and she's not for moving. She is happy as a pig in muck on that post at the back next to the hawthorn hedge. Occasionally she'll stretch, occasionally she'll, look like she's getting ready to take flight, only to settle back down again, knowing full well he's back at the nest with the kids. One of the things that Pops and I have commented on about Tom Robinson's hides is they're really, really well put together. We were in the Kingfisher hide yesterday, which was also the same hide that we did the otters at night. I think it's called the pond hide, that one, isn't it? Really well structured building. Not a shed at all. It is a building. I mean, that had like corridors and various different annexes to it, which was incredible. This one, where we're photographing the kestrel and the possibility of the weasel, again, it's sunk into the ground. A lot of hides, you're up high and you're shooting down, so invariably what you end up doing is bringing all your perches up to try and make sure that your backgrounds are okay. But here they're sunk down, so you're almost at eye level before you start. And then it's just a little attention to detail. So both hides that we've been in have got a toilet. That's a massive plus. Particularly, I think, for female guests, whenever my wife comes with me to hides, if it's got a toilet, that's a massive plus for her. They've got brew making facilities, so we had the gas stove yesterday to make our tea and coffee on. This hide is fully electric, so we've got an electric stove, an electric kettle for making tea and coffee. Yesterday we had a log burning stove. Today we've got a gas fire. So just these little things just make, it's the creature comforts, I think, that it gives you, which means that you can be very, very comfortable in a hide. And as I've said to you previously, if you're comfortable, you're more likely to sit for prolonged periods of time, and that's going to give you the best possible opportunities to get your photographs. And I think that's something that Tom's really thought out. I think he's really thought out his hides to make sure that his clients are comfortable, and that's going to keep them in the hides for longer and probably keep them coming back, because I'm not going to lie, these are hides that I would love to come back to at different times of the year and experience the different seasons. Don't know about you, Pops.
Absolutely. No question about that. I'd love to come back.
Well, he made us wait, and wait we have. We have waited for hours, and we're beginning to give up, because actually Tom was due at any minute. I'd already packed away the vlogging equipment. I should have known better, because then the mail came in, and oh my word did he come in. He landed on the back post, and he was just in like the worst possible position. Pops couldn't see me. He was obscured by the weasel setup. I was obscured by the centre pillar again in the windows. I'm thinking, Anyway, I shifted the camera very slightly to the left. Managed to get some purchase on him, really. Couldn't really get some clean shots because there's a branch coming across from the weasel setup that was just obscuring his tail ever so slightly. But then what he did was he flew from that back post to the centre post, the best perch really that we've got available to us in front of us, and he landed on that. So I got some really what looked good on the back of the camera. I hope they're as good in real life. Good in-flight shots, some really nice flight shots of a kestrel, possibly the best flight shots I've ever achieved of a kestrel. and then he landed on the perch in front of us. He was only on there, I would say, 2-3 minutes tops, and he'd managed to pull the mouse free, which actually was really good, because rather than then eating the mouse on the post, he stood posing with it hanging out of his mouth, did a few with it in its talons, before it then flew off. I thought he was going to fly off and be done, but it actually landed on the grass, and I've got a shot where it's just poking through the grass, as though that's the point where it's just taken the mouse off the ground. It looks very, very natural, and there's a hay bale behind it, so it's got a really, really nice yellowy background, which is contrasting nice with the greens of the grass and complements the tones within the kestrel. And then he landed up on the perch, back on the original perch he was on. He was cleaning his beak off, and then he flew towards us, landed on the weasel setup, was there momentarily, and then has flown off, and I think possibly off back to the nest. Thoughts, Pops?
Thoughts? Well, what can I say? Absolutely stunning. He's a beautiful bird.
Isn't it just?
It was worth the wait, although I was getting a bit desperate. Must have had about a dozen wheeze waiting for it to come. No, but he's beautiful, and especially with the mouse in its beak.
He's back.
He's back. He's back. He's back.
Just been chased off by a magpie, so he's gone right to the back of the field now. And he's gone up in a tree.
Oh, he may come back then.
Yeah, so we've had the female has come in twice. The second time she came really close, and she was staring. I don't know if she was staring at her own reflection in the glass, because it is one-way glass, or whether she could see us through the glass. But she stayed only momentarily and flew off. So we was beginning to think that was kind of it. You know, the chips were down and we're down and out, but that's made up for all the waiting.
Yeah, very handsome bird.
Well, I didn't think that was going to happen, but when it did, wow, what an incredible encounter it was, Pops.
Absolutely stunning.
What a
Absolutely
wonderful
stunning.
morning.
Yeah. You know, I used to be bigger than you.
My little Pops, look at him. He's only tiny. Oh, so we're off to do the hares next. The hide I've probably had the most.
I could do a few of those myself.
Just a few here and a few there. We're back to wardrobe. That's how we started the day off today.
Hey up.
Hello. Hello.
Come on.
So Tom's just arriving now, so we're going to have a quick check-in with him, and then we'll move on to the hare hide.
Hare hide.
Hare hide. Let's carry on with the adventures.